And today is payday for a lot of people. And a lot of people today, if you live in the UK, you know it's fish and chips. Or if you're a bloke, it's the pub. Of course, the price of a pint these days is insane. And I remember speaking to someone the other day, and when I was 18, the price of a pint was £2.50, which, if you look at inflation, that should only be like £4 these days. Now, you can get a pint of ale in my local tap room for £3.95, which is good. But most pints these days, you're talking like £6, £6.20 at some places. I've even seen like £7, and this is the north of the UK. You know, if you're going to Manchester, for example, you could probably see that in some kind of bars, and in London, you could see up upwards to £8-9, which is, you know, insane. If you actually go and look out at what tax we pay in the UK on everything, it's insane. Income tax, national insurance, VAT, fuel duty, alcohol duty. When you go abroad, air passenger duty when you buy a house, stamp duty when you when you own a house, council tax when you own a car, road tax, fuel tax, VAT on the fuel that's taxed, insurance premium tax. When you invest in cryptocurrency, capital gains tax, income tax on your DeFi, income tax on airdrops. When you run a business, so I have a limited company in the UK, and of course there's corporation tax, VAT, if you're VAT registered, business rates, and then of course when you die, inheritance tax. So from everything that you do, it is just hammered. And every time I see a post by, let's say, a politician, it could be in the US as well, I see that Donald Trump posts a lot in the US about, maybe it's there's a lot of things where he's looking at releasing like the files on aliens, or the files on JFK, or the files on Epstein, or whatever, and all the comments for people like, changing this regime, changing that regime, and all people care about is lowering the cost of living anywhere. All the comments are like, yeah, but the gas prices are $6, bro. Like that is the main issue for people, is the cost of living. And in the UK, Keir Starmer posts about, whatever he's looking to do, whatever he's looking to protect, whatever he is doing for XYZ in the UK. And it's never cutting taxes. It's never making things cheaper for people. The actual real inflation rate it's got to be 8%. You look at the price of anything last year, food-wise, in Tesco, for example, it's just going up. And let's be honest, none of us actually care about 95% of the stuff that politicians do or that the government do, because it's just nonsense. Every year, the petrol goes up, beer prices go up, council tax goes up, anything on your house, energy prices go up. Nothing gets cheaper. Nothing gets cheaper at all. And that's what people care about. And people are getting sick of it, to be honest with you. And you can see it more with the resentment of people and the comments on social media and just generally everywhere, the conversations you have with people, that we're getting sick of just money getting taken off us and then pissed away on nonsense. Nobody cares about, foreign wars or whatever. It's like, I just want to pay for things and them not get more expensive extortionately year after year, whilst, all the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, which seems to be happening every single year. And, people will say, well, that's why people are leaving the UK to go to places that are cheaper. But I always think that there's pros and cons of living anywhere. I like living in the UK. The climate isn't fantastic, but I do like living here. I've got friends and family nearby. That's what kind of keeps me here. I enjoy the British countryside. That's where I live. But the amount that we get shafted with tax is insane. And that is why a lot of people, let's be honest, avoid tax. I don't, but that's why people avoid tax. I've spoken about it many times with crypto, for example. People don't want to pay the capital gains tax. They're cracking down on a lot of things in crypto at the moment. And they're doing it with everything. If you own a business in the UK, like I do, a limited company, you'll try and look at what is the optimum way of dividends or taking or investing. And there ain't many routes, to be honest with you. You know, you've got to try and either get into something where it's wrapped from tax, i.e. stocks and shares ISA, or in a vehicle as well that earns an amount that can outpace the tax that you pay, i.e. what we talk about with cryptocurrency and DeFi, because it outpaces the tax that you will pay. The amount you earn per month in that outweighs the tax that you will basically pay, which is, you know, something that we teach and we go on about. And for the average person in the UK, you know, if you just earn a salary that gets taxed, it is very hard with home ownership, with trying to go on your yearly, twice yearly holiday with the family. It is hard, you know. It is hard to live in the UK at the moment with the price of everything, and I can't imagine the how people live in London. You know, I was in London at the weekend for Bolton's playoff final, which we won. And you just look at some of the houses, knowing that they cost 3 times as much as where I live. And the wages aren't 3 times as much. So for someone that works in the city, they've got to live in like a 1-bedroom flat that hardly has anything in it and pay, like I said, £8, £9 a pint, going to a local Tesco, paying 10 quid for a steak. It's just not sustainable at all. Not sustainable. And people, like I said, are getting sick of it. They're getting sick of it. And people talk about the next government. I know people are looking at voting in reform. And I can say now that if reform get in and things do not get cheaper for people, there will be mass revolt, to be honest with you. Because that just goes to show that if a new government comes in and taxes aren't cut, certain taxes aren't cut, or things made cheaper, with the way inflation is going, people will get sick of it in revolt, because people are sick of how it is at the moment. And that's without even going into the other issues the UK has. But the money situation, which, let's be honest, is what I talk about on the channel, is what people are sick of as well. People can't afford as much. The purchasing power of the pound is nowhere near what it was 5 years ago, let alone 30 years ago. You know, when I was 18, I look at 18-year-olds now, I could buy more, I could earn more than them and spend more than them now. So people are getting sick of it. People are waking up. And that is why people are going towards crypto, other investments. And it's why people are, unfortunately, losing money with buying stupid altcoins, you know, getting into stupid investment schemes. That's why people are losing money and getting into pyramid schemes, you know, Juice Plus or what, you know, name whatever it is, Herbalife or whatever. Day trading, you know, you go down the list, I've done them all, FX trading or whatever. That's why people are getting into more risky assets and, you know, going down those avenues, because getting more desperate means doing more desperate situations. I've you know, known guys who've literally remortgaged this is one guy, right? Remortgaged his house to buy an altcoin, right? Literally remortgaged his house to buy an altcoin, and this altcoin lost 99% of its value. That's where we're at in the UK at the moment. That's it for me. I just wanted to make a rant video before I went out on a Friday. If you enjoy my content, if you like the videos, if you like me talking about more stuff within the UK, more finance stuff, I am going to cover that and evolve the channel as time goes on. I have got a big announcement as well, but I'll leave that till a live stream or maybe Monday's video. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you all very soon.